Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Brawley City Council and successor agency to Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. This is our regular meeting agenda for Tuesday, March 16th, 2021 at 6 p.m. here in City Council chambers. Let's have the roll call.
Councilmember Wharton, Councilmember Castro,
Here.
Councilmember Nava,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Couchman,
Here.
Mayor Henry.
Here. All right, at this time, I'm pleased to invite Pastor D. Lee to come up and offer our invocation.
Mayor Hamby, Council Member Wharton's having some difficulty with the technology,
Okay.
but he'll be on shortly.
Okay, great, thank you.
Everyone, please bow their heads, please. Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, we come right now in the name of Jesus, Lord. Lord, I ask that you bless each and every one here. Bless the mayor, the potent mayor, and all the councilmen. And bless each and every one that's here, Father God. But Father God, we ask that you bring favor right now. Bring favor to the city of Brawley. Bring favor to this session right now in this meeting. And Lord, I ask that you just, Lord, move in a mighty way, Father God, right now. Father God, I ask that you speak through right now, Father God. You know what is needed, Father God. So we ask that you bring favor to each and every one, Father God. Each and every member, Father God. Speak to them right now, Father God. And let this be a day that we remember always, Father God. And we just thank you, and we praise you, and we give you all the honor. We give you all the glory, and we give you all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Lee. Mayor Pro Tem Couchman, will you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Before we approve the agenda, there's just one slight correction that needs to be made. That is item 4E should say discussion and potential action on 2020 Urban Water Management Plan update instead of plant. So with that correction, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, item 2, public appearances and comments not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Do we have any public comments this evening? Yeah, this would be a good time for you, Chief.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Councilman, City staff, and the public. I think this is a great opportunity. It is open to public comment. So this is something that everybody needs to know. One of our employees at the city police department. You know what? Last week it was somebody else.
It was
my week. Don't laugh at me this week.
He's like, at the city of La Quinta, we did that, right?
Let's rewind.
Right.
Well, I'm excited because this is something that our officers do out there, but sometimes they don't get recognized. So when they do, I think it's important that we bring it up. You know, I think some of the councilmen, especially Councilman Nava has said it in the past, you know, a lot of times we hear the bad stuff, but what about the good stuff? Mm-hmm. So one of our employees got the Stone of Hope Award. And what it is, this award is given to individuals who honor the life and principles of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which I think a lot of us are a fan of his, right? And these are individuals that exhibit a commitment to excellence and service their fellow man. That's pretty much what it's for. So this award went to several members of the community in Imperial County, and also Commander Brett Hausers, who a lot of you may know or do know, for right? And I think everybody knows him, for that matter, in town. I mean, I've known him for a few years, but I got to know him really well for the last couple of months. I think it's been great knowing who he is and how he operates. He's definitely a person that is committed to this community, to the city, and I think this award definitely shows that. So if he's listening, you know, I want to let him know that I appreciate what he does, and I think a lot of you guys do, and I want to give him a round of applause. I'm hoping he's listening online. So thank you. It's well deserved. So that's all I wanted to bring up.
Thank you, Chief.
Great.
And
thank you,
forget
Chief.
the part of my.
No, that's, hey, that's great because it's a new team, you know? so
Right.
it's okay, Chief.
Yeah, that was impressive to see that Commander Hauser was given that award, and he truly is a man of the community, and we truly appreciate having him on staff there at the police department, and he's stuck with us for a long time, so we're honored to have him on board. Okay, are there any other public comments to be made? All right. Item 2D is a proclamation designating April 2021 as Autism Awareness Month, and April 2nd, 2021 is World Autism Awareness Day in the city of Brawley. So I'd like to read this proclamation into the record. Whereas autism is the result of a neurological disorder that affects the normal functioning of the human brain and can affect anyone regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background. And whereas symptoms and characteristics of autism may present themselves in a variety of combinations and can result in significant lifelong impairment of an individual's ability to learn, develop healthy interactive behaviors, and understand verbal as well as nonverbal communication. And whereas the autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a reality that affects millions of families every day, and more children are being diagnosed, resulting in rates as high as 1 in 54 children nationally, with 4 times greater prevalence among boys than girls, according to the Centers for Disease Control. And whereas the city of Brawley recognizes the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on children and other individuals with autism, including the disruptions of healthy patterns of daily life that support and advance cognitive development. And whereas, while our nation has made progress in supporting those with ASD, we are only beginning to understand the factors behind the challenges they face, and the effort to address autism continues with doctors, therapists, and educators who help individuals with autism overcome or adjust to its challenges and provide early, accurate diagnosis, appropriate education intervention, and therapy that are vital to future growth and development. And whereas in April we recognize those with autism achieving and breaking down barriers and recommit to helping those on the autism spectrum reach their full potential at all times. And whereas the City of Brawley, California proudly supports the annual observance of Autism Awareness Month and World Autism Awareness Day in the hope that it will lead to a better understanding of the autism spectrum disorder, celebrating the work of advocates, professionals, and family members, and all who work to build a brighter tomorrow alongside those with autism. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Luke Hamby, Mayor of the City of Brawley, hereby proclaim April 2021 as Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd, 2021 as World Autism Awareness Day in the City of Brawley to raise public awareness, acceptance, and inclusion of those with autism and the myriad issues surrounding the disorder, as well as to increase knowledge of the programs that have been and are being developed to support individuals with autism and their families. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Brawley to be affixed on this 16th day of March, 2021. All right, and that, Alma, that certificate is going to be presented to...
Gloria Brambilla. I'm going to email it.
Okay.
Mail it to them.
Okay. So what's her last name?
Brambilla.
Brambilla, Gloria Brambilla. That's it. All right. Thank you. Moving on to item 3, the consent agenda. Items are approved by one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion, this is George. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton is with us.
Yes.
Technical difficulties have been solved.
Okay, good deal. Moving on to item 3, this is a public hearing. We're going to conduct a public hearing and adopt resolution number 2021-, resolution of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, approving the issuance of the California Statewide Communities Development Authority multifamily housing revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $8 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition and rehabilitation of Spring Apartments and Encino Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto, to conduit financing for the Spring and Encino Affordable Housing Project presented by Gordon Gast. our planning director. The backup is on pages 63 to 68. Gordon, do you have any comments to make before we open the public hearing?
No, just a brief summary of what this is. We've had a couple of these before. There are bonds available to developers with low-income housing to do improvements on their property. They do basically need a blessing from the city to make them tax-free bonds. Like I said, we've done these in the past. These apply to 2 apartment complexes, the Spring Apartments, which are on B Street, close to North Palm Avenue, and also the Encino, that's the Encino Apartments. The Spring Apartments are at the corner of I Street and Southeastern Avenue. And if you have any specific questions about this type of action, Mr. James Hamill is on to answer any questions for you.
Okay, good deal. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. And if there are any comments, public comments or questions to be asked of Mr. Hamill, we can do that at this time. No comments or questions? Any from council to Mr. Hamill?
No, I think we've done this before.
Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. Any discussion among council? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve this item, this resolution.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay. That item is approved. Moving on to item 4, regular business. 4A, update on City of Brawley declaration of local emergency as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. Fire Chief Mike York is going to give us an overall outlook.
Good evening, Mayor Hamby, members of the council and city staff, Fire Chief Mike York. Tonight, for the COVID-19 update, I'm going to take a little bit different format. I do have all of the numbers that I usually provide available if anybody is interested, but I think in the sake of time and some redundancy, I just highly recommend that everybody check out the Imperial County Public Health Department's website and the COVID-19 dashboard. It's very informative, and it certainly is a good way for people, not just city staff, but all of our residents to keep informed on our situation with COVID-19. The numbers I will be discussing tonight regard the blueprint for a safer economy and the recent changes to it. As many of you may know, on March 10th, last week, we moved from widespreads to substantial. Substantial, also known as the red tier. Those metrics changed as well. The state of California has adjusted all of the metrics for each one of the tiers to make them a little bit broader, a little bit easier to get to, but also the metrics will change as vaccines become more available. So when we reach 2 million vaccines, we'll see different numbers for each one of those tiers. As we exceed that 2 million vaccine administration number, then those numbers will change again. So currently Imperial County, which is within substantial for reference, means between 4 and 10 persons per 100,000 and between a 5 and 8% case rate. As of today, the Imperial County has 5 persons per 100,000 that are positive, which is incredibly good numbers for where we've been at this last year. And our positivity rate for COVID-19 tests is 2.8%. Our health equity metric, which is the measure between the positivity rate between the general public and our least underserved personnel, is at 5%. Just for comparison, our statewide metrics across the state as an average is at 6.5 per 100,000. So the Imperial County is actually doing better than the state as an average. And the statewide positivity rate is 2.3, so we're very much in line with them. And good news is, across the state, we have 28.7% ICU availability. And as you know, Governor Newsom put us into a statewide lockdown when our ICU rate reached down in the sub 15% category. Our next metric is the moderate or orange tier. To achieve that, we need to get 1 to 3.9 persons per 100,000 and between a 2 and 4.9% case rate. So we are actually, case rate, we meet the criteria there. but we need to meet both criteria before we can move down. So we're very hopeful that as vaccines roll out and as we're seeing these case numbers reduce, and hopefully people are very prescient about following the rules, we can see that next stage soon. Just some information locally at the alternative care site at IVC. All patients have remained discharged. It still remains in the warm status. They're essentially using it to hold and store equipment. Here at Brawley Fire Department, we've also stabilized. We've responded to 288 calls for service that were COVID related. So between now and the last council report, that's only a change of 5 calls. So that's definitely stabilized as well. COVID-19 vaccination, we're progressing through the tiers. More vaccines have become available. There has been continued discussion about the possible use of the Brawley Airport as a care site. Those we haven't settled on any dates or any defined logistics, but it still remains in the talks as a very appropriate site for a clinic. We will have a clinic that's being handled between Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District in coordination with a committee of Civico Valle, and that will be at Oakley School this week. And the only other update is we will be renewing our declaration of emergency on the next city council meeting. That will be our next proposed date for your consideration. If there's any questions, I will do my best to answer.
What's the time for that meeting at Oakley School?
I
Date
don't
and time?
have that information with me. I just received the information that will be utilizing their cafeteria services, but I can definitely make sure that it gets spread with the city manager for your guys' information.
Will we have access through Zoom or
Or-
to attend that meeting or to be part of it?
No, it's a
Oh,
vaccination
sorry, the
clinic.
vaccination. Okay,
It's a
great.
vaccination clinic. Sorry about that.
My mistake.
No.
I was,
Vaccination clinic at Oakley School this week.
Just a question. I noticed that the vaccines are rolling out there. We're getting people vaccinated right now, and there's a lot of places doing it. Vaughn's, PMH, the county, Valley Medical Pharmacy, I think. There's a whole bunch of places that they're doing it in Calipatria, Westmoreland. They're in Island. I think they did a clinic in Island the other day. Do you see anything happening when it goes to the state-run system? They're going to go to Blue Shield. I think they're going to take over probably at the end of this month, and they're going to you have to make all your appointments through the state processing or something in that nature. Do you see any changes really occurring? Do you see that as a negative or a positive for us?
I actually have not been involved in those discussions at all, Mayor Pro Tem Couchman. I know that those have been discussions within members of the EOC, but I haven't been party to those. I can certainly follow up on that, and I will definitely reach out for any details that you may need.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any recourse in that. I think there's one county that said they weren't going to do that. And so I don't think that we're in that position at this point in time. I'm just wondering, it seems like they've gotten a handle on it and they're throwing out quite a few vaccinations right now. I hate to see us go back to square one, kind of start that process all over again. And while I have some faith in our ability to do that, I always worry when the state takes over and tries to do it statewide, because we generally don't profit by that as much. So I'm concerned about that, although I do think there's some provisions in there for us to receive a little bit more vaccinations, some other things going on that may work in our benefit.
I think it bears noting that certainly our region is unique throughout the entire state. We have some logistics that other counties don't share, so there's always room for differential
Yes.
use and utilization.
It's been my experience in working in government as long as I have that cookie cutter things don't always work. I mean, you can put a system out there, but it doesn't always work for all our areas. Our state's very large. We have a very diverse population. We have a very diverse set of counties. So I just a little concern there on my part. I'm hoping that it proceeds through, because right now we seem to be kicking out quite a few vaccinations.
Mayor Pro Tem, the county at this point is going to move forward with the Blue Shield at our last meeting that we had. There are more than one county now that is not wanting to participate in that, so we'll have to see at our next weekly update with the county where we stand as a county.
And one of my concerns is that I think under the Blue Shield system, from my understanding, is you're going to have to go online to make your appointment with the state function. A lot of people here don't go online, so they call in or they do other things. So I think we've got to make some provision for our clientele here that aren't always online or are real technologically savvy. So that could be an issue. We've got to kind of, I think, anticipate that.
Well, I'll certainly remain in communication with the city manager. I believe those discussions are happening more in his circles than mine, but whatever I can do to follow up, I will.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly, it seems like as time has gone by and.
Thank you.
and- Yeah, thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
The county health department and the different organizations that have vaccinations to give have hit their stride. And it's, you wonder if by bringing in Blue Shield, if it's going to set us backwards and they have to take over the whole system. And so, yeah, I've been pretty impressed with what's been happening lately as everyone's kind of gotten through those bugs in the system that are the early growing pains. But today, my 4-year-old asked me when the corona was going to end, because it's been a whole year of, he's gone from being 3 years old to 4 years old, and it seems like most of his life has been coronavirus, so he's anxious to get past it just like the rest of us. All right, moving on to item 4B, discussion and potential action to award specification number 2021-03, purchase of rock products, asphalt, cement, concrete, and other miscellaneous street products, presented by Public Works Director Guillermo Cias. Backup is on pages 69 and 70.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. This item is regarding the process that the city or Public Works follows every 2 years to acquire rock materials and other miscellaneous like asphalt material, class 2 base. And on February, the engineering department advertised for these materials purchase, and 2 bids were received. Master Construction being the lowest at $150,600, and Pyramid Construction. So staff is recommending to award this contract to Master Construction for the purchase of these materials for construction. Any questions that you might have?
I don't have any questions. I'd like to make a motion to approve the item.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? The item is approved. And tonight is the Guillermo Cias show, so. Next, we have item 4C, which is discussion and potential action to award project number 2020-04, Legion Street Improvements, Phase 3, from Kelly Avenue to the west city limits to LC Paving and Sealing Incorporated. This is also presented by Guillermo Cias, Public Works Director. Backup is on pages 71 to 75.
Yes, this is the third phase of Legion Street from Highway 86 to the western city limits. Is the third and final section, and 3 bids were received: LC Paving and Sealing, Rob Engineering, and Hazard Construction being the first one, LC Paving, the lowest responsive bidder. So we are recommending to award to this contractor. This is a grant that the city was able to obtain, and is in conjunction with the minimum share that the city will participate with local funds, in this case LTA bond money. The amount was lower than that's expected, the engineer's estimate. So we believe that it is reasonable, and we are recommending the award to this contractor, this project. The system will be similar to what was installed in previous phases, and the section is from Kelly Avenue to the western city limits. Pretty much is very similar to the segments that were installed previously. Any particular question or detail that you have?
Have you done work with this contractor in the past?
That was my
No.
question.
No,
I
we
mean,
haven't.
it's substantially lower than, it's almost $100,000 lower than the second lowest bidder.
Yes, previously on other project on Wildcat Drive, we had a similar situation with other contractors, and later on, this same contractor that participated He was the awarded contractor on Phase 2, Legion Phase 2, and he did an excellent job. So we don't have concerns about that.
Okay.
If there's no concerns, I'll make a motion to approve the item.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, item carries. Item 4D, discussion and potential action to approve introduction and first reading of ordinance number 2021 ordinance of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, amending ordinance 2013-03, sewer use local limits, also presented by Guillermo Cias, Public Works Director. Backup is on pages 76 through 88.
Yes, on this item, I would like to introduce and invite to the microphone to Mr. Steven Mireles. He is the Senior Environmental Compliance Officer that is he has a lot of knowledge on this item, and he was a key role in this particular item that he can give you better details and explanation about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome, Stephen.
Hello, Council, Mayor, thank you for letting me speak here today, and thank you, Guillermo, for having me speak today. Today I wanted to provide you just kind of a brief summary about what we've done. So we currently have a sewer use ordinance. That sewer use ordinance contains limits and limitations on wastewater discharge from our significant industrial users. Essentially, the city operates a wastewater treatment facility and also a collection system. The city also administers a pretreatment program which controls the wastewater discharge from significant industrial users, and just make sure that we're not going to be in violation of our discharge to the New River, and make sure that we're in the good graces of the state of California and the federal government when it comes to wastewater discharge and treatment. The city is required to periodically review the local limits. As our city grows, changes, we get new businesses leave and come. And so our last local limit study was conducted in 2013. And so we were due to have a new local limits study conducted. The purpose of the local limits, again, is to protect the city infrastructure, our operators, make sure that no one's discharging things that are not supposed to go into the sewer, for instance, explosives or any types of chemicals that may be harmful to the wastewater plant and the environment. The City Council approved a new local limit study, and that study was conducted in 2020. This study basically provides recommendations for the updates of the local limits for businesses designated as significant industrial users. The city currently has 3 significant industrial users. One World Beef Packers is our largest significant industrial user. We also have Glorian Farms, which is a corn processor, and then we have Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District, which is our healthcare provider and local hospital. The city met with all 3 of our SIUs throughout this process, explained what the study was going to be done, how the study was going to be conducted, its conclusions, and requested any comments from our SIUs. We're very fortunate in the fact that none of our SIUs provided negative comments back to the city in regards to this study, and so we believe this provides us a more robust understanding of what's occurring in our wastewater currently within the city, and we are recommending that the new local limits be adopted to reflect the changed conditions from the 2013 study.
Okay, great. Any questions from council? Anyone care to make a motion to approve this item?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item is approved. Moving on to item 4E, discussion and potential action on 2020 Urban Water Management Plan Update by Guillermo Cias, Public Works Director. Backup is on pages 89 and 90.
Yes, the Urban Water Management Planning Act requires the urban water suppliers to update and readopt every 5 years the urban water management plan. when that supplier provides service to more than 3,000 customers or 3,000 acre feet annually. And the last update was in 2015, and now we are preparing this update 2020. And the purpose of this updated document is just to reflect updated population information and to update the water usage throughout the city. We are not including different programs or are changing any method and procedure, but it is required that we prepare this document to identify or update the water source, the uses, the programs that we have to conserve water, and so it is a requirement that we have to do. And so we are we as part of this requirement, we have to make it available to the public, which will be on April 7, where the public will be able to review and also will be on our website. So they will be able to review it, make comments, and later on we will be able to adopt it in the first meeting of June. Any questions that you have?
No.
No questions? So I have a motion to approve this urban water management plan update.
A motion to approve.
Are we moving to approve, or are we going to do this at a later time?
We're going to do it at a later time. It's just that we are making it available to the public, informing that it will be prepared and that will be available on April 7th, and they will have a period of time to review it online and in hard copy, and it will be they will be able to provide comments, and if we can answer those, and the adoption is planned for the first meeting in June.
So right now, we're approving the public hearing, to going through the
Exactly.
process in order to reach
Not the
adoption.
document because it's under preparation,
Correct.
but we are approving to make it available in the process to update it.
Okay.
I just wanted
So,
to be
so
sure.
we're approving the public hearing. In
Yes,
other words,
Correct.
that's what
we
we're
will have it
doing.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand, okay, yeah.
This is a simple item, a motion to approve item 4E.
Okay.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Item carries. Item 4F, discussion and potential action to authorize contract change order number 2 to contract 2019-03 water treatment plant sedimentation basin improvement project in the amount of $4,818.50 to Gearlick Mitchell Incorporated, and authorize the city manager to execute all documentation in relation to this project. This is also presented by Public Works Director Guillermo Cias. Backup is on pages 91 to 96.
As previously informed in other meetings, this project has been completed and is been working properly and functional. This is a change order just to compensate the subcontractor that did one of the replacement of one of the actuators, and that during the installation he found defective material that he has to do additional repairs, and he is providing this request to be compensated. This project is completed, and as I mentioned in previous meetings, this will be the last item, hopefully, to resolve, the payment. And with the help of city manager and the attorney, we are in conversation with the contractor to address the delay in the completion date. But there won't be any informational item regarding this project other than the payment that is being addressed in this meeting, unless something arises. But I doubt it.
Okay. Good deal. Is there a motion to approve this item?
This is George, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, item carries. Great. Thank you, Guillermo, for all of that. Are you going to give us our informational item number 5?
Yes.
All right. 5A is 2021 Brawley Community Cleanup, April 24th, 2021, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Imperial Landfill, 104 West Robinson Road in Imperial. Backup is on pages 97 and 98.
Right. On this item, as you might recall, in previous occasions, it was happening on the airport. But the last year, toward the end, and this time it was proposed by Republic Services to provide this service at the landfill. And in this particular date, the other organization, IBRMA, will be on site to be collecting like electronics, like e-waste, computers, TV monitors, and it will be all together in one date. So there's no separation, like 2 stations. There will be the same location, and there will be people from Republic Services and from IBRMA that they will be helping the residents to unload the material and dispose it. And it will be within this time frame, this date, on a Saturday.
Okay.
Just a question.
Mayor, if I got to add a comment. We will be advertising across all our social medias multiple times to ensure that all the residents are informed as much as possible. I will make a comment that this happened a few months ago, and it worked real well. I participated, and I think we had from the city of Brawley 160 or so residents that participated, and it went very smooth.
Good.
Just a question or comment. I think due to COVID, I think it's probably a good idea to do it this way. I would like us to look at what we do in the old days, and I don't know how many people we had come to like the one at the airport, but I know there was a lot. And so I would like to know, or monitor a little bit, maybe look at it and see, are we hitting everybody? Are we getting all that stuff better? Is this a better idea? Or do we need to go back to the old way of doing it, where we go to the airport or have them do somewhere closer in town? I think due to COVID, I'm certainly accepting of this because I think that's the best way to go right
That
now.
was the reason for
And
it.
I think
So
that was the reason why they did it in the other way.
what ended up happening is that I had talked to him about a community cleanup, and because we'd had it at the airport, and that's when COVID was really kind of hot, really hot. And so just during a drive around, a conversation, we came up with that idea, like having over at the landfill. And I think it's just temporary. I know it's working well, but if it works well and it's servicing the residents, that can be.
Yeah.
It's tough because, remember those lines that we had? But I think, too, we learned from that experience when we had a really backed up line and it just wasn't a real well organized, at least the first time. But I think following times, there was a pretty good system to get people in and out. So, because the lines were really long at one point. So.
Right, and I think that works well. I'm just wondering if everybody can make it over to the, Imperial to do this. So I don't want the city to be left with certain things here that we could get disposed of if we do the community cleanup. I think for COVID, it's fine, and we'll take, we'll do it this way, and we'll take a look at it. And a year from now, maybe we'll want to open it back up to where we do at least one local where we have people deliver here. Maybe we do one out there and one here during the course of a year, and maybe that would cover us. Because I'm worried about the people that may not be able to drive all the way out there.
Absolutely, I think that's a huge concern for those folks that can't make it out there. We've discussed this in the past with the issues of the trash here behind our businesses and all the dumpsters. Today I went over for one issue to Republic Services and ended up discussing another issue. And one that came up was some informational stuff that I wasn't even aware of. They provide free pickup at curbside. They have several free trips that you can have to the dumpster. I did ask them to reach out to our city manager. Perhaps there's a way that we can have a coordinated effort to get that information out to the folks here, because if I didn't know, being as nosy as I am, imagine the rest of the population here in Brawley. So I think we need to do a better job, as we discussed in the past, to make sure that especially Republic Services needs to do a better job on letting folks know of the services that are available for free, that are covered, not free, but covered through the fees that their monthly fees.
2 tons of trash.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Additional information is that this flyer that is attached to the agenda will be distributed with the bill insert, the utility bill.
Oh, great.
So the people will know.
I was just referring to the other services that are
Yes,
available.
Yes.
Is it here? Yeah, this is just letting us know about the 24th. But I mean, they said they have other services that are ongoing
Right,
throughout the year.
the regular ones, right?
Yeah.
That they have a free bulky pickup per month or so.
They have bulky pickup. We also have like computer pickup, not through Republic Services, but IVRMA, and so that, that can be disposed of. So maybe we can retouch on that subject, just so people know. Tires can also be done, as long as it's not like a tire service that's doing it, but just people that need to dispose of tires and things of that nature. So there's those services that are offered throughout the year, and some of those are actually grant funded, so it's you'd be surprised how many tires are picked up throughout the Imperial County. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of tires, and you've seen all over the place, right? But there are thousands and thousands and thousands of tires. So anyway, but I think that's a good idea. Maybe we can refocus on and it goes back to cleaning things up.
Yes, sir.
Just getting things cleaned up. And even if the landfill, maybe it's going to the people, like where the trash is at, right? And so we could maybe have dumpsters at different parts of the community where people can just, toss things in there too.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Excellent idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, at designated times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Near a park or something like that, we could just make it like that. I don't know. We'll work something out.
Yeah.
So the Sam will show up with a bunch of things that are stucco and sheetrock that are do not bring, but he'll show up with them. I'm
I'll
sure.
take any ammunition. that they
Right,
have.
right there it says explosives.
I'll be happy to take that since they don't.
I think they do you can take 4 loads to the dump a year,
2 tons.
2 tons total. You get it like a punch card or
Punch
something.
card.
They give you with your
But
utility bill.
essentially every load, they count as a punch.
Right,
So, you want to make sure that
Fill
you
up
get
that.
your 2 tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been there.
Overload that baby,
Yes. And cover the load. You got to
And
tarp
cover the load, yeah. And wear a helmet, right?
Your hard hat.
Bring your own
Yeah,
hard
hard
hat.
hat.
That's right.
And a safety vest.
Little hard hat, yeah.
I got a hard hat at the house.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. CS?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you for
Thank you, Guillermo.
Thank you.
carrying the meeting tonight. He had a lot he wanted to say, and he's just been quiet for the most part.
He's been in San
He's
Francisco
been in
the
San
whole
Francisco
time.
a lot, yeah, this
It's
past
like,
year.
He's been missing Brawley.
Okay, moving on to item 6, city council member reports. We'll start with Councilman Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been a busy 2 weeks. This Sunday, we had at the American Legion a fundraiser for high school scholarships. It's a program that had been sitting idle for 15 years, and we brought it back to life a couple years ago. And because of COVID, we weren't able to continue our last fundraiser, but we were able to get it going again this past Sunday. Drive-through rib plates, it was excellent. We sold somewhere in the area of 500 plates. We raised all money being raised is being pushed out to students, so we're not saving any of it. So we said we would do, 6 scholarships. So whatever money was raised this past Sunday from the plates sold and contributions made by other folks in the community, will go back out to the students. So it's a great fundraiser, and we had a great time. Also, I've been a little bit busy meeting with small businesses here in the community. I met with 3. Someone's addressing issues and just kind of want to know what they have in mind when it comes to cleaning up our area and how we can help their businesses. And then also how they've been affected by COVID. And mainly some of these folks that were forced to shut down, they didn't have an option in the way, now they have to recover, rent and make up kind of all those losses that they had over the past year. They're in a very difficult situation. But nevertheless, I needed to hear from them and kind of see where they're at, and then just to get an idea of where we're at with them and how perhaps there's a way for us to help in the future. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Nava.
A lot of cool stuff since our last meeting. So, I had reached out to the city of El Centro to see if we could meet up with them, and thankfully they were gracious enough, and I was able to take, along with me, Councilmember Wharton, and I know he's had some difficulty in logging in here, but he was went along with me, and we were able to meet with Mayor Cheryl Villegas Walker of El Centro, the city manager Marcela Piedra, director of community services Adriana Nava, deputy chief of police Robert Sawyer, who's our former chief here, and along with me, Councilmember Wharton, our city manager, our police chief, our parks and rec manager, and our finance director. And we had like a little walk and talk meeting over at the Aquatic Center. And I can tell you, since I've been on council, and I'm going on 14 years, I don't think we've ever visited another city like that. And I think it was just so eye-opening and so, I think it was good for all of us. We came back with some really, fresh ideas. We maybe spent an hour and a half there with them last Friday, and got a few tidbits, some nuggets from things that they're doing like in their downtown that maybe we can implement to help us keep better track of like the ownership and maybe ensure that things are being cleaned up and other things. We've had a lot of issues, 500-600 block, especially with trash and other things, but just other things that they're doing that I think is very interesting. And we have a brand new, fresh leadership team that's in some cases a week old, a week and a half old, 2 weeks old. And I think it was just good overall. It was good for me as well. It's as on council, sometimes it's ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's a little more straining than others. But I was happy with the outcome, and I think it was just a good opportunity to shake hands a little bit, if you will, and talk to other elected bodies and staff members from other cities. So maybe we can continue that effort with other communities. I thought, honestly, it was a really good experience. Aside from that, I also, along with Councilmember Castro today.
Thank you so much,
yeah.
by the way. I greatly appreciate what you did for us. So.
Yeah, no, so with Councilmember Castro, he's leading his group at the American Legion, they're beautifying their location. And he had approached me a while back about, tree donation. I think, well, maybe we can do something bigger for that. And so I reached out to West Coast arborist Mike Pallett and Isaac Garza. We met with them today along with our city manager. And they are the contractor that was in charge of, along with Imperial Valley Urban Forest, when we did the tree planting over at Hinojosa, if you guys will recall that. So they're the arborists that did that. And so I reached out to them. And they're going to be donating some trees over to the American Legion. But they also gave us a time to meet with the city, of course, and our city manager. And we did a little bit of a walk around the parks and look at our trees and how we manage our trees. And if you don't look up sometimes, it's a little surprising when you start to see how our trees are managed. We have a huge inventory of trees throughout the city, and so we have very limited staff. So anyway, I did invite them to come speak to possibly ICTC, which is a group of, as you know, a group representative of the cities here in Imperial County, and possibly to the city council here. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we were able to do that, and just getting out there. But I think honestly, it's great to see just staff come together and develop, and I'm excited about it, and I'm happy to see that we're making progress. I'm excited. I truly am. And it's been, like I said, ebbs and flows. I'm at a peak right now. So let's keep that rolling, for everybody's sake. So anyway, those are my comments. But I also want to congratulate Brett Hauser, if he's watching. Congratulations, and thank you for the work that you do for our community. And it goes to show it's not just you, but you're also his family gets recognized as well for the work that they do in the community. So it's just good family values that go out and are recognized by other people. So congratulations. That's
right.
it.
Good deal.
And thank you again, Councilman Nava. It's going to look great. All the things that we're doing, that's kind of like the final touch on it.
It is
gonna be
nice.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
It's
We
looking
appreciate
nice.
the help.
It's looking nice. If you haven't driven by there, check out the American Legion. They've done some nice work out there. So
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Good deal. Mayor Pro Tem Couchman.
What about Mr. Wharton? Is he not on?
I think he had some technical difficulties. I don't see.
he's
his
had a
name
little
there.
bit, yeah.
Okay, all right. Only a couple things. It's been pretty slow for me the last few weeks anyway. I have been attending more than one of the vaccination clinics. In fact, I've been to 2 now in this last week or so, last 2 weeks anyway. They're doing very well, I think. Once the people get an appointment, they seem to go very, very smoothly. I went out to the PMH one the other day, and they were doing a very good job of getting the people in and out. And they also did not want to waste vaccines, so I think they did call some people in that may be on waiting list or whatever, and they moved some people through there pretty efficiently. So I thought that was a good thing. Anytime we get more vaccines out there in the community, that's a good thing. I also went to the county to get someone vaccinated, and I was not being vaccinated myself, but I've been transporting some people and doing a couple of other things. So we went to one over at El Centro at the county in the parking lot next to the county buildings. And they did a very good job there. People in their cars, and you drove through, and it was a limited group. I think they were only doing, around 60 vaccinations, but I was able to get someone into one of those. And I've also, like I say, PMH, and I also attended some vaccinations at Vaughn's. So I took somebody in there yesterday to be vaccinated. They're doing a fine job at Vaughn's, and they're moving the people in and out of there pretty quickly. So a lot of people are doing vaccination. I know Dr. Vo, and I know Valley Medical Pharmacy has been doing some. I know they've been to Westmoreland, I think Calipatria and Nyland. They're giving vaccinations in a lot of the rural areas. I think that's a good thing, and I think it's getting more of the population vaccinated, and that will knock down the COVID numbers, I believe, substantially, or the potential for COVID numbers anyway, substantially. So I think they're doing a fine job, and it looks like we're moving along in a positive way there. So that's pretty much all I have to report. I do drive around Brawley about every other day. I check out the arena, I check out pretty much all the streets and all the way out to maybe the bypass, looking at different things that are going on. And I appreciate the staff being out there doing their job. And I do appreciate the Brawley residents and everybody trying to stay safe and doing their job. And that's all I really have to report, Mr. Mayor.
I think it's going to be a little while before I can be vaccinated, but I'm a little worried. I'm worried to do it because I'm afraid my hair will grow back or something. You know?
It's possible.
People won't recognize me.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Everybody's different about the vaccines too. I noticed the Moderna, they said you have more kind of reactions to that. But then I noticed some of the people that got Pfizer are having a little bit of reaction. Nobody's having a massive reaction, but they are having some minor reactions to those. I haven't talked to anybody that had Johnson. One person I think that had Johnson, and they said that they were having a little bit of a reaction to that.
That AstraZeneca beat me up. Yeah, knocked me down a few days.
Yeah, that
Not to
one-
where I couldn't function, but it beat
That's
me
an
up.
that's an interesting one. too.
Second one was not so bad.
Moderna, Pfizer, and all of them, everybody runs a potential for having a reaction. Some people say the reaction's the result of your immune system kicking in pretty quickly. So I don't know.
Just
Maybe
felt like a
that's-
bad like a bad hangover.
No, I don't get those. Nah.
Yeah.
That's all I get now. But
It's been a long time, but yeah.
I can't even drink. Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
that's okay. I don't have a whole lot to report tonight, other than I've gotten quite a few calls over the last couple of weeks from Brawley residents with questions or concerns, and if I don't have an answer myself, I forward those on to the city manager, and then he gets them to the right department head or gets the right answer to those questions. And it's just been, I've really appreciated having Tyler heading these things up. It's just, it's easy to get a hold of them and get the answers we need and get them back to the residents. So I think in general, people have a have a positive outlook on the city of Brawley right now and the things that are getting done, and some of the just the getting the message out there, as has been said tonight, trying to focus on the positive. Not that there isn't negative that happens, but everybody knows that bad things happen sometimes, and so it's just good to focus on the positive sometimes, because I think a lot of times in Brawley, especially lately, there's more good happening than bad. So we feel fortunate, we feel blessed to be in this position that we're in. And as we come out of COVID and things open back up, I think just the entire council and city staff is feeling very optimistic about the way things are going, and it's just an encouragement. I had an opportunity to meet with the police chief a few days ago, and we had a long discussion about things that we would like to see happen here in the city, logistically, and it was just, that was a very encouraging meeting, because he's very quickly getting a grasp on what needs to happen within his department and throughout the city, just with law enforcement and with community outreach and morale building and all that kind of stuff. And it's just very encouraging to see the changes that are taking place there in PD and then throughout the city with law enforcement and outreach. And I'm just looking for so many good things to happen. We know that I go through life most of the time waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, okay, I know something bad's going to happen,
Don't say
especially
that.
when good things are happening. But you know, it's like George said, there's an ebb and flow, whether it's with the amount of activity and effort that we have to put in as council members, or whether it's with good and bad that comes with the territory. But I think we are a cohesive group, and we're a grateful group, and often gratefulness is what leads to happiness. So we're glad to have that outlook right now. We had quite a bit of wind last night. I noticed a tree or two fell down, and Public Works was right on it, getting that cleaned up. So good to see that, and we truly appreciate our city employees and city staff just keeping it together and getting work done. I did attend a county COVID update this past week, and we've got another one coming up in the next day or two. But those numbers are all, definitely looking better and better. So just a lot of good things to be thankful for. Okay, we will move on to item 7, the city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I echo Councilmember Nava's comments about the meeting that we had in El Centro. It was very, very fruitful from my opinion, and it was a great idea. Thank you for that, setting that up. Had an opportunity to speak with my counterpart one-on-one over there on some issues. So that was a great meeting. Time well spent. Secondly, as we move on to hopefully a return to quote normalcy, all city staff and myself are working on bringing what we can bring back as far as services that have been shut down for a year. Each department almost each department is having to do some work on how we're going to get back open and provide some services. So they're providing all the hard work, and we will let you know when we're able to open up and what those plans look like.
It's exciting, very exciting. Imagine that, like, we're open, like announce it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, good deal. And over the last couple of meetings, as we've had items brought up, from different council members or from city staff that have been forward-looking, just new ways of doing things or new ways of looking at and compiling data for the betterment of our city, the way the agency is run. There's a lot of work that's going into what's happening this year, and it feels like there's an awakening almost, like we've been kind of asleep for a while, and now everything's waking up. So it's good to see that. Item 8, the city attorney report.
So just been working with the city manager. We're trying to get some of these developers all their paperwork in line so they can start building on some of these developments that are barely complete. So things are moving along.
Good. Item 9, the city clerk report.
Nothing to report.
Okay. We will move to item 10, closed session. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everyone.